Hello, and welcome once again to another fun-filled, heretical episode of Inside the World of Mack's Headroom. You know, I need to keep my hands over here because I just realized the t-shirt I'm wearing says Iowa Mom. So if anybody sees that, oh well, politically correct, I guess. Anyway, let's get on to business. It's been a while since I made a videotape, and I just wanted to explain why. You know, I made a whole bunch of tapes about COVID. I said I'd never make another one, and it's true. But as a result, I think what happened to me, not as a result of the tape, but as a result of just staying inside for so long and being a good boy, which I have no complaints about, but nonetheless, I got very fatigued and didn't feel very motivated to do much except get aggravated about all the bullshit that's going around in this country. So I was sort of at odds with myself and didn't make a tape. So that's the story. And I'm sure I apologize to my 176 subscribers who I'm sure have been jonesing for another videotape from me. But I'm sorry. Here we go again. Here we go now. First of all, if you read the header to the video, you know that I want to talk about guns. But before I do, I really want to ask anybody who watches this tape to sort of go along with me on a premise, and that is that what I don't want this videotape to be is a platform to talk about whether there should be gun control, gun absence, whether we should be like Australia, whether we should have them, shouldn't. That's not the issue, because according, I think it's the Second Amendment of the Constitution, says that it gives us the right to bear arms. Okay, and actually, it was put out for a real good reason, because it was meant to actually help in the event of a civil war, which I'm not so sure our country's far from. But that's my axe to grind. Anyway, so what I do want to start with is to make an assumption, which is that we have the right to bear arms, and you should be able to obtain one legally if you're a normal person with no major criminal background and that kind of stuff. You should be able to obtain one within a reasonable period of time, because the Second Amendment guarantees your right to have one in the case of some sort of civil unrest. I mean, Jesus, if the Jews wouldn't have had their guns taken away in Germany, maybe some things would have been a little different. I don't know. That's, again, my axe to grind. But nonetheless, I live in the city of Chicago, and it's really funny because everybody watches YouTube tapes about Chicago. They go, "Oh my God, it's a war zone! Oh my God!" Right? But it's also a democratic state, which says, no, we don't need guns, we don't need the police, we don't need this, we don't need that. We can take care of things ourselves, which is a lot of bullshit. Again, in my humblest of opinions. So I just had my 68th birthday on St. Patrick's Day. And I also should tell you that I used to be the bearer of many arms. In my 40s, I had my 68th birthday. I don't know if I said that. But anyway, in my 40s, I was quite an avid shooter and had quite an avid arsenal. I ended up giving it up for a variety of reasons. I think the biggest one, I gave my last couple to my son who lives in Utah. The main reason, I think, was because I had read Massad Ayub's book on the use of lethal force, and just to put it briefly, I mean, it seems like you have to do so many things before you blast somebody without making yourself a murderer, that I said to myself, I don't know that I even want to shoot somebody, because not that I really care if they're out to hurt me, but there's a lot of shit to clean up afterwards, no pun intended. So, again, with that in mind, I, as a 68-year-old senior citizen who lives by himself, and, I do have a dog, but she's 12 years old, wants to purchase a firearm again. Now, I'm a great shot. I got to tell you, I'm not an irresponsible person. I shot every weekend for years. Okay? I had every kind of gun you could imagine just about. So it's like, but I let my FOID card elapse. And that's the subject of today's talk, okay? I wanted to give you a little bit of background. So, my FOID elapses. Now, at the same time, I've been thinking about getting a gun on and off. But I prior to my giving my guns away to my son, I was feeling relatively safe. The situation in the world was a little safer, and so I didn't really feel like I needed to have a gun. And I also read Masada Ayoub's book, which made it seem like a bigger hassle to shoot somebody than to be shot yourself. And so, at that point in time, I just gave it up. But that was like in 2011. Okay? So now, 10 years later, at least in Chicago, which is part of the state of Illinois, it's like, especially in certain parts of town, thank God I don't live there, but it is eroding into other parts of, which are, just not as bad a neighborhood, I guess you could say. But it's a jungle out there if you want to be mobile. So really, it's been kind of easy in a way to put myself in a COVID coma because, that was a bad analogy, but you know what I mean. Because I didn't go out much, but now I'm trying to go out a little bit. And like an example would be I was scared to death to go get my COVID shot. That's a funny pun too. My COVID jab, as they say in English, because I had to go to a bad neighborhood to get it where there were like carjackings and shit going on. So not that I would have taken a gun into a carjacking situation. I think if anybody who's seen Reservoir Dogs knows that's kind of a stupid thing to do. But nonetheless, I was scared to death to drive around the city. You know what I mean? And when I should be in my retirement years, getting around, being respected, and not worried about ducking bullets, let alone talk about little kids in Chicago who are getting shot innocently with illegal guns. Those guns are not purchased the right way. They are illegal guns, and they are in the hands of criminal individuals, okay? I don't want to get into politics or anything like that, but any of those people that are shooting into a crowd of people and killing innocent little kids, I don't care what society's done to them, what anything, they are at that moment in time a criminal in my book, okay? And they are usually using, I'd say in 98% of the cases, illegal guns. Whether they are, I forgot what they call those guns, where they don't come with a serial number at all and they're made in the Philippines, or whether they, figured out some way to get the thing off, they stole it from somebody else. It's still illegal if they stole it from somebody else, right? So, sorry, I need to take a breath there. So, I have been trying to get an FYD card. I got to get back to that, okay? I'm just trying to paint you a picture of what it's like around here, okay? So, and I'm not in the center of it, so thank God for that. But I'm trying to get an FYD card. Well, I applied on August 11th of 2020. The law says you're supposed to get an FOID at a maximum of 30 days, okay? But they say, well, because of COVID, it might take, and it started to escalate. Like, first it was 90 days, then it was like 106 days. Now, I have no idea how long it takes, but I know I got into a chat with a dude in a YouTube comment section, and he's from Illinois. He told me that he's been trying to apply for a year and gets the same results, which is nothing. Pending is what everybody's told. And I have no record. I am a clean guy, I guess, and, I can't get a gun at 68 to protect myself from this fucking bullshit that's going on in Chicago, my hometown. Chicago, that dangerous town. Seriously, it's a drag. And I'm just going to say one last thing and then I'm going to close. Why is it taking so long to get a gun? This one dude I talked to took He's been applying for a year, and he filed suit against the state of Illinois for violating his constitutional rights. Think that mattered in Chicago and Illinois, a Democratic state? Hell no. Didn't matter. They don't care. So, why is it? They keep saying it's because of COVID, but wait a minute. You know, they've been saying this to me since August of last year, and they've been saying it to this other dude I talked to for a year, and it's the same thing. Pending. You know, and so, you know, why is that? Let's just use a little bit of critical thinking and ask yourself why. Well, first of all, let's take a look at one thing. In Illinois, it's only one of 6 states where you have to have a FOID card, you know, firearms owner identification card. Everywhere else, you could buy a gun, but then they do a criminal background check there. No, in Illinois, you have to do this other bureaucratic step, which is to apply for a card, which is supposed to take a maximum of 30 days. Remember, we're talking about potentially Civil War conditions, okay? And according to the Second Amendment, all right? And they won't give them to anybody, it seems. I haven't talked to anybody who's gotten an FYD since the whole, really, nothing racial or anything about this, but since the BLM and Antifa and all those riots and shit started, the state of Illinois decided that it was going to control the possession of handguns to normal people. The fucking normal people. The people who, because they do a background check. But no, the state police is overwhelmed because of COVID. No, I don't buy that. Especially when it comes to a Second Amendment right? What kind of bullshit? I'm sorry, but it's total bullshit. And I believe it's a conspiracy. I believe that in the government, let's not get partisan, okay? Let's just say that in the government of Illinois, they don't want people having handguns. But they're totally comfortable beefing about handgun possession by people who have illegal guns and who have them illegally and who are criminals. Okay? So it's really ridiculous. You know, I'll end with just telling you one funny story. In Chicago, it may still be for years, but in the actual city of Chicago, they had a rule that was notorious, which was, I think it was in 1984, they established a law that said every handgun in Chicago had to be, no, it went like this. The law was every handgun had to be registered with the police in Chicago. First of all, that's a questionable thing, especially when you compare it to things like what happened in Nazi Germany and stuff. That's questionable to have to register with the police so they know where you are because you own a firearm. Okay, well, they said you have to register your firearm, but in 1984, they said no firearm can be registered anymore. So what did they say in Cook County in Chicago? It may still be that way. You can't have a firearm in the most dangerous place in the fucking country. Okay? Chicago. That has to be my mantra, so like I don't, go batshit crazy or something. Anyway, I guess I made my point. Governor Pritzker was great illegalized reefer. I'm really happy about that. But let's get on it with the gun thing, huh? I think it's starting to get a little partisan. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm glad to be back. I think this was fun. Take care. And thank you once again for being with me for another heretical episode of Inside the World of Macks Headroom. God damn it. Thank you.